These are the strongest ultimate abilities in Marvel Rivals. If you ever hear the enemy team pop one of these bad boys, you should immediately run for your life. Maybe even Alt F4 from the game just to get away from them, and then immediately run to your bed and cry yourself to sleep just to get a head start on processing and compartmentalizing the deep emotional trauma that these abilities have inflicted upon you. Starting with number 5, we have Future Tracer. Star-Lord basically has the white bread of ultimates. Very basic, but it gets the job done. Good range, high mobility, and high single target damage. You might not get a flashy team kill or anything like you can with other ultimate abilities, but you can pretty reliably flank and then just detonate a support or a duelist and then get out. Clean, efficient, and all you really need out of an ultimate ability is to reliably get a kill or two and not die in the process, so that then your team can just take an easy 6v4 and win the fight. At number 4, we have the subscribe button. If you press this button, the matchmaker will improve the quality of your teammates and ranks by 15%, which is an absolutely insane buff to get in-game. Trust me, it's true. My dad's uncle worked at Marvel, and he showed me the code for the game. Just trust me, bro. Okay, but actually at number 4, we have Overpowered Green Woman, who turns into a giant overpowered green woman before proceeding to play a game of IRL Angry Birds. The amount of space that you can control with Hela's ultimate is absolutely insane on certain maps, and even if your team is able to run away from her, she still gets wall hacks for some reason, so she can just tell her team exactly where you're hiding, or even just ping you through the wall, so that her teammates can go and finish the job, while she continually chucks her black Angry Birds nearby, hitting you with that splash damage. Or she could even just call out a random Iron Fist that was flanking and was about to give your backline a colonoscopy free of charge. It's not even worth trying to contest her ultimate, because even if you manage to melt through her 1000 health while not dying to her Angry Bird 2-tap, while her team is also still alive and applying pressure, you don't even get anything out of it because dying in her ultimate doesn't even kill her. She just reappears right underneath where she ulted and can just turn into a bird and leave. The fact that this ultimate can just force the entire team to give up a ton of space and just leave a fight is incredibly strong. It's an extremely effective ultimate, especially during an overtime situation where the enemy team is forced to contest the objective or they just straight up lose. At number 3, we have Mr. Again. The Winter Soldier's ultimate is like the polar opposite of Star-Lord's. While he's the white bread of ultimates, the Winter Soldier is like the random sketchy food stand in a local town. It's either going to be the greatest thing you've ever tasted in your life, or you are literally going to fucking die and be glued to the porcelain throne for the next week. You'll either whiff it, or you'll hit it but then whiff your follow-up to try and get the ultimate reset and your team doesn't help you, or you go crazy with the resets and then just wipe the entire team by going again. And again, and again, and again, and again. You get the idea. I've been able to keep the ultimate for 2 team fights before due to one person on the enemy team staggering in early and letting me keep the reset for just long enough to get another cycle going. While the guaranteed value from this ultimate is probably lower than a lot of others, the potential value you get from just being able to reset it infinitely is pretty crazy. And I played him a good bit, so here's a couple of tips with his ultimate just for fun. 1, don't ult tanks. Just ult squishy heroes first, and then only hit the tanks once everybody else is dead. While your ultimate does apply an execution style debuff that will instantly kill an enemy if their health falls below 20% of their maximum, it does only deal 100 damage on the initial hit. So ulting a tank that has, 600 to 800 health might not end well for you in trying to get that reset and continue to chain your ultimate together. 2, try and ult anyone who is half or below first. If you already have a target in mind, it's very easy to just insta-cast your ultimate and go on to them. So you can poke for a little bit first and try and soften someone up before you go for the ultimate. And also just don't ult anyone who has some kind of self-invulnerability, because then you just won't be able to get the reset because they just leave and then get healed up. And then the third mistake I've seen a lot of people do is just don't pop your ultimate immediately after you get the reset. You have up to 8 full seconds to use your ultimate again, so make use of that time. Find a good target, maybe even hit at least 1 bullet on them to soften them up first, and then go for the ultimate. Don't just immediately pop it unless you have a plan with it already, because that will likely end with you ending your chain right there as you realize there's no good targets for you to really go on. For the second strongest ultimate in the game, we have Marvel Hatsune Miku. Luna Snow's ultimate has the highest healing output out of all of the defensive ultimates in the game at a whopping 250 health per second. So unless you have some kind of insta-kill or your whole team is actually focusing down a single target, which is very unlikely, then you are not likely to kill anyone once this ultimate is popped. It also has a pretty long duration, counters a lot of other ultimates by outlasting them with the absurd amount of healing output, And if you don't need the healing at the time, you can just swap to an AoE damage boost instead, and then just swap back and forth instantly without any cooldown as you need to. It's just a very good ultimate for allowing your team to just go all in, go balls to the wall, and play very aggressively while also not dying in the process. For an honorable mention, we have Loki. It doesn't really feel fair trying to rank his ultimate compared to others, because his ultimate is just access to any other ultimate in the entire game, at least if that character is being played in your lobby. And unlike the Overwatch alternative, which is Echo's ultimate ability Duplicate, as Loki you just transform with your chosen hero's ultimate already fully charged, so there's not really any risk with trying to build up your transformation target's ultimate before you're able to use it. You just want another Hela ult, copy a Hela, and then immediately pop the ultimate. You want Luna Snow ult because your Luna Snow wasted hers or something, copy Luna Snow, and then immediately Luna Snow ult. With 11 other players in the game, the odds are good that at least one of them will have an ultimate ability that you want, and you have the flexibility to just turn your ultimate into a second version of any other ultimate you want to, that's on your team. You can even cycle Jeff the Sark ultimate team kills if you wanted to. Like, just have a Jeff the Sark ult, eat the entire team, take them off the map, and then the very next fight, you kind of poke for a bit so that your own Jeff can build their ultimate. Then you just Loki ult into Jeff, and then you ult and team kill off the map again, and then hopefully the next fight after that, your original Jeff will be close to his ultimate, and then he can build it up while Loki's building his up again, and then you can Jeff the Sark ultimate team kill again. So yeah, it offers some weird unique strategies and a lot of flexibility, so it's really good. But on a tier list, I would just put this ultimate into its own tier and just call it Loki S tier. So yeah. And then finally for the strongest ultimate in the game, it's Adolf Fissler. A lot of people have probably experienced for themselves. Jeff's ultimate is pretty infuriating to play against, and it is also a literal war crime, but we'll get into that later. You're completely invulnerable, you have free targeting with it, the enemy team has no idea where you'll come from until it's already too late and you're there, activating the Circle of Death, and there's nothing that a lot of heroes can do about it. If he eats you, he can then just kamikaze you off the side of the map if it's nearby, as he has you locked inside a Vor prison for 8 seconds. And this is a literal war crime, by the way. Players captured by Jeff the Sark are completely contained and unable to do anything, so you could consider them to be prisoners of war as they've fallen into the hands of the enemy. And executing prisoners of war would violate the Geneva Convention, making suiciding off the map with the enemy team a literal honest-to-God war crime. Even then, it's just an incredibly effective and infuriating ultimate to play against, as there's nothing you can do. You can't really run from him, because he can target anywhere on the map if he wants to. Very few characters have an infome that can avoid getting eaten, and once he has you inside of him, you're completely helpless to do anything but watch as he slowly waddles towards the edge of the map and then jumps. I feel like they should have an option to enable match voice chat for players inside of Jeff when he uses his ultimate, so that they can beg for their life or maybe try and offer some kind of mental health counseling to Jeff, so that he reconsiders jumping off the map with them inside of him. Just an option for it though that the Jeff player themselves can enable in the advanced settings and have it off by default though, for obvious reasons. Jokes aside, it's an ultimate that is as strong as it is unfun to play against. Even if you can't get the kamikaze team kill, just kidnapping 3 people and locking them inside a prison and out of the fight so your team can win a 5v3 is pretty damn effective. And then afterwards, your team can just help you clean up the remaining 3 prisoners afterwards. It's also just incredibly strong on the objective, especially during overtime. The enemy team is contesting the point, nope, now they're not anymore, and they just instantly lose. Nothing they can do about it. Just being able to delete the enemy team from the objective with almost no counterplay at all is already really crazy, and the fact that you can convert all of those players grabbed into kills just by ending it all is a little bonus on top of that, and that's why I think Jeff's ultimate is probably the most valuable in the game. So yeah, if you enjoyed or laughed at all, please like and subscribe and comment what you would most like to do to Jeff the Sark, for better or for worse, and until next time, see ya.